In the 1950s and 1960s, television products were booming in America and coming to several American households. But it would be on November 22nd, 1963, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, that would change the way media coverage was handled. The coverage of the Kennedy assassination lasted 4 days and drew more media attention than anything before this time. By the fourth day of coverage, the Kennedy Memorial had a viewer rating of 81%, making this one of the highest TV ratings in history. The only event since this to have as much television coverage was the 9/11 bombings in 2001. The coverage of the Kennedy assassination had changed the way live coverage was seen, but also had a big impact on how people in America would start to receive their news. Before the Kennedy assassination, plenty of people relied on newspaper and radio to receive their news. But this changed when people wanted to get news instantly to stay up to date with the newest information from the Kennedy assassination. The way television networks presented breaking news was also changed after the Kennedy assassination. Television stations started having longer nightly news coverages, going from 15 minutes to 30 minutes and sometimes even going an hour long. The sets of newsrooms actually saw a huge change as well, going from living room or home style backdrops to something much more serious like we'd see in a modern newsroom. The Kennedy assassination caught everyone off guard, so many news stations did not have live cameras to present the news. This meant many people got the information by a message on the screen, not an actual anchor talking. In 1950, only 9% of Americans had television sets in their house, but by 1960 that number had spiked to over 90% of American households owning a television. This could be why news stations were not ready. They were relatively new to television and had never encountered a situation quite like this with this much urgency. Before the assassination, the Kennedy family was very embracing of television networks and actually had used the television as an integral part of the presidency campaign. This played a huge part in the growing popularity of the television set. Kennedy used television to his strength, much like Franklin Roosevelt embraced radio and Barack Obama used internet to his strength. As a president, as presidents, they had to adapt with the times. Although the amount of televisions in homes across America increased at a crazy rate in the 50s and early 60s, live on-site reporting was extremely rare because of its very high cost. The Kennedy assassination brought live broadcasting to the screen, which plenty of people may not have experienced before. With events like Jack Ruby shooting suspect Lee Harvey Oswald, the viewers could not take their eyes off the television set. The television was the fastest way to receive all of this information, so the main broadcasting stations like CBS, NBC, and ABC were greatly benefiting from this tragedy of Kennedy's assassination. In our modern day of technology, we may never see a day where America is so focused on one type of media. News is so accessible through so many platforms now, even an event like the Kennedy assassination could not draw people to the television quite like it did that day. The assassination of John F. Kennedy is one of the worst days in American history, but ended up having a huge impact on American citizens as well as American media. News coverage on television became more frequent and appealing to people around the country. It is said that November 22nd, 1963, is the day Americans truly converted from newspaper and radio to the television.